Ill-fated and mysterious man, bewildered in the brilliancy of thine own imagination, and fallen in the flames of thine own youth. Again in fancy I behold thee, once more thy form hath risen before me, not as thou art, in the cold valley and shadow, but as thou shouldst be, squandering away a life of magnificent meditation in that city of dim visions, thine own Venice, which is a star-beloved Elysium of the sea, and the wide windows of whose Palladian palaces look down with a deep and bitter meaning upon the secrets of her silent waters. There are surely other worlds than this, other thoughts than the thoughts of the multitude, other speculations than the speculations of the sophist. Who then shall call thy conduct into question? Who blame thee for thy visionary hours? Or denounce those occupations as a wasting away of life, which were but the overflowing of thine everlasting energies? It was in Venice that I met for the third or fourth time the person of whom I speak. I remember, how should I forget, the deep midnight, the beauty of woman and the genius of romance that stalked up and down that narrow canal. A female voice broke suddenly upon the night. A child slipping from the arms of its mother had fallen from an upper window into the deep and dim canal, leaving a solemn entourage to seek in vain upon the surface the treasure which was to be found, alas, only within the abyss. Upon the broad black marble flagstones stood a figure, which none who then saw can have ever since forgotten. It was the Marchesa Aphrodite, young wife of the old and intriguing Mentoni, and mother of that fair child who now deep beneath the murky water was thinking in bitterness of heart upon her sweet caresses, and exhausting its little life in struggles to call upon her name. There seemed but little hope for the child, how much less than for the mother, but now from the interior of a dark niche a figure stepped out and plunged headlong into the water. Seemingly, an instant afterwards, he stood with a still living and breathing child upon the marble flagstones. No word spoke the deliverer, but the Marchesa. Her lip, her beautiful lip trembles, the entire woman thrills throughout the soul, and the statue has started into life.
Thou hast conquered. 1 hour after sunrise we shall meet. So let it be.
The tumult had subsided, and the stranger, whom I now recognized, stood alone upon the flags. He shook with inconceivable agitation, and his eyes glanced around in search of a gondola. I could do no less than offer him the service of my own. shortly, I found myself at his palazzo. I knew my acquaintance to be wealthy, but as I gazed about me, I could not bring myself to believe that the wealth of any subject in Europe could have supplied the princely magnificence which burned and blazed around. The eye wandered from object to object and rested upon none.
I see you're astonished at my apartment, at my statues, my pictures, my originality of conception in architecture and upholstery. Absolutely drunk, at my magnificence. But pardon me, my dear sir, my uncharitable laughter. You appeared so utterly astonished. Besides, some things are so completely ludicrous that a man must laugh or die. To die laughing must be the most glorious of all glorious deaths. Now at Sparta were 1,000 temples and shrines to 1,000 different divinities. How exceedingly strange that the altar of laughter should have survived all the others. But in the present instant I have no right to be merry at your expense. You might well have been amazed. With one exception, you are the only human being, besides myself and my valet, who's been admitted within the mysteries of these imperial precincts, since they have been bedizened as you see. Here are paintings from the Greeks to Cimabue, from Cimabue to the present hour. Many are chosen, as you see, with little deference to the opinions of virtue. All, however, are fitting tapestries for a chamber such as this. Here, too, are the unfinished designs of men celebrated in their day, whose very names the perspicacity of the academies has left to silence. And me. What think you of this Madonna della Pieta?
'Tis Guido's own. How could you have obtained it? She's undoubtedly in painting what the Venus is in sculpture.
Ha! The Venus, the beautiful Venus, the Venus of the Medici, she of the diminutive head and the gilded hair. Part of the left arm and all of the right are restorations. And in the coquetry of that right arm lies, I think, the quintessence of all affectation.
I could not help observing through his mingled tone of levity and solemnity a certain air of trepidation, which appeared to me at all times unaccountable, and upon some occasions even filled me with alarm. Frequently, too, he seemed to be listening in the deepest attention, as if in expectation of a visitor, or to sounds which must have had existence in his imagination alone.
There is still one painting you have not seen.
Human art could have done no more in the delineation of the Marchesa's superhuman beauty, but in the expression there lurked that fitful stain of melancholy which will ever be found inseparable from the perfection of the beautiful. My glance fell from the painting to the figure of my friend, and the vigorous words of Chapman's Bussy d'Amboise quivered instinctively upon my lips. He's up there like a Roman statue. He will stand till death hath made him marble.
Come. Let us drink. It is early, but let us drink. Let us pour out an offering to yon solemn sun, which these gaudy lamps and censers are so eager to subdue. To dream has been the business of my life. I have therefore framed for myself, as you see, a bower of dreams. In all of Venice could I have erected better? You behold around you, it is true, a medley of architectural embellishments, yet the effect is incongruous to the timid alone. Proprieties of place, and especially of time, are the bugbears which terrify mankind from the contemplation of the magnificent. Like these arabesque censers, my spirit is writhing in fire. And the delirium of this scene is fashioning me for the wilder visions of that land of real dreams, whither I am now rapidly departing.
Stay for me there. I will not fail to meet thee in that hollow vale.
My mistress, poisoned. Poisoned. Oh, beautiful Aphrodite.
Bewildered, I endeavored to inform the stranger to a sense of this startling intelligence, but his limbs were rigid, his lips were livid, his lately beaming eyes were riveted in death. My eye fell upon a blackened goblet, and the consciousness of the entire and terrible truth flashed suddenly over my soul.